Hello, my name is Melinda. Welcome to Web of Stories. Today is not Monday. It's not Tuesday, excuse me. It should be a Monday when this goes up. But I'm going to do a tag anyway. The reason is this tag that I am about to do is actually one that needs to be done at the beginning of the year. And so I kind of want to do it while it's still kind of relevant. But January is a really kind of busy month with videos that I want to put out that are kind of like once a year videos. So there weren't any open spaces on Tuesdays this month. I don't think there were. We'll see. But as of right now, there aren't any. But I wanted to make sure this got out. So we're going to do Tag Monday. And this book is the New Year, New Me book tag for 2025. It was created by Kevin Towle, and I was actually tagged twice by it, which is another reason why I wanted to get it done, because when you're tagged twice, pressure's on. Although I don't think either person who tagged me would say that there should be any pressure for me to do this, but I'm just saying I was tagged twice. First by Jim at Jim's Books and Reading, and secondly by Pat at Book Chat with Pat. So this has 8 prompts. This is the second time I'm filming this because I missed a prompt the first time. So let's just start over. The first prompt is fears. What is one book from your 2025 reading goals that scares you? So I had a hard time with this one to begin with. But then something did kind of stick out to me. And this is a book that, I said for a long time I wasn't going to read this book until 2025. Because I wanted it to kind of calm down because it has been very popular. And now it's 2025. And all of a sudden I seem a little daunted by it for reasons that I don't understand. And that is Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. Yes, I know. Everyone's read it. It's a wonderful book. And I don't know why all of a sudden I'm like, oh dear. I think part of it was like, when am I going to fit this in? It is a big book, so it will be during the summer that I read this book. But I think it's just that the buildup has been there. Like, I've waited because I wanted to kind of let some of the hype pass. But in doing that, I allowed there to be buildup, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So that's where I am with this one. This is the British paperback copy because I got this like shortly after it was released because I could either pay 30 plus bucks for a hardcover from the United States, or I could pay less than 12 and get a paperback from Blackwell's. So that's what I did. But yeah, so this one, it is going to get read. It'll be read this summer. I'm just a little daunted by it. Number 2, patience. What is one book from your 2025 reading goals you want to start immediately? Well, I've actually already started it. In fact, I'm filming this on January 7th and I expect to finish it today. But that is Death Comes as the End by Agatha Christie. So probably know I read one Agatha Christie a month in roughly publication order. And when I first started this book, I think I first started reading Agatha Christie. I might even have been reading Mysterious Affair at Styles, like way back then. Someone said, oh, I'm reading this book, and told me what it's about. And I was like, I need to read that. So this is a very atypical Agatha Christie. Agatha Christie, as we all know, writes crime fiction. She's got her detectives. That's usually set in present to her time whenever she's writing it. But this one is set in Egypt in 2000 BC. I know, right? So it just sounded so different that I couldn't wait to read it. You will probably have seen my thoughts on this before you see this video, because I am, as I said, completely expecting to finish this today, which means that I will be talking about my thoughts during my weekend wrap up, and then you will see this the following Monday. So, but this is the book that I was probably really kind of chomping at the bit to get to. And I had to wait because there was another book I had to read first for a book club. So I'm really excited to almost be done with this. And I will, little spoiler, I'm really enjoying it. Third question, growth. What book last year pushed you to reflect and or grow as a reader? So I actually have 2. And both of these I read as part of the BookTube prize. So they're both nonfiction. And different reasons. The first one is King, A Life by Jonathan Eig. This is a biography of Martin Luther King. Pretty self-explanatory. But what really it challenged me and it kind of made me grow was that Martin Luther King, there's a lot to admire about Martin Luther King, but there's a lot of problematic stuff too. And it's very easy when you admire a public figure, be it a leader, a politician, a celebrity, whatever, it's really easy to put them on a pedestal and ignore the harder stuff. And I think this book made it very clear that it's important to look at these people, humans, as a whole. I mean, no one's perfect, obviously, but I think you do a disservice to Martin Luther King's memory to ignore the problematic stuff. And I think that it is important. Even if there's someone, I don't know. My heart belongs to Pete Buttigieg. Let's put it out there. My heart belongs to Pete Buttigieg. And I'm sure he has a negative side. I don't know what it is yet. But it's important to look at someone like that. Look at Pete Buttigieg in this case and realize he's not perfect. He is a human like everybody else. And by giving them an almost godlike status, they are perfect, you are doing them a disservice. And you're doing yourself a disservice as well. So I think this was a really important book to show me that. The second book is Eve, something about females and evolution, longer title, by Kat Bohannon. This is a science book. I'm a history person, but this takes the evolutionary history and it looks at it through the lens of like the contributions from females in it. Now, clearly, neither females nor males are 100% responsible for evolution. It's, they're both necessary equally. But the focus for so long, and not just in evolutionary history, in all kinds of history, in all kinds of things, has been on males. That introducing females back into the conversation, I think, is so crucial. And this book didn't try to replace the roles males played in this, because obviously you have to have both, because that's how you make babies. Just there you go. You have to have both. But including females in that particular history made me, and I do this a lot anyway, but it kind of sent it home, to look at females in other parts of history and other parts of things, other parts of the social sciences, whatever. And it really gave me a more holistic view of the world. So those are my two. Number 4, New Paths. What is one author you plan to try for the first time in 2025? So this was a hard one because I don't know. I mean, I was like, I don't know. I don't know what new authors I'm going to try. But then I realized I went through like books that I had planned to read this year. And there was one that is a new author. There are a couple that were new authors, but this is the one I'm kind of like most embarrassed I haven't read. And that is Wilkie Collins. I will link it below, but I have a little project for 2025. I'm calling it my classics catch up. I've identified 6 classics that I feel like I should have read by now, and I am going to read this year. I've committed to reading these 6 classics, and it will not be the only 6 classics I read, but these are ones that I feel like I should have read by this point and have not. And the last one on those is The Moonstone by Wilkie Collins. So I will definitely be reading Wilkie Collins for the first time this year. Okay, number 5, self-care. This is the one I forgot. What is one book or series you revisit for comfort? That was a no-brainer. And this is my favorite book from the series. Louise Penny, A World of Curiosities. This is the second to most recent book. The most recent book wasn't that comforting. But this is my favorite book out of the series. It is a darker read. I mean, this is a hard, dark, and the fact that I find comfort in it is a little bit worrying, but I love the world that Louise Penny creates. I want to live in Three Pines. I don't care how many murders they have. I want to live there. I want to go have dinner parties with these people. Like, that is my ideal, that's my fantasy place to live, is Three Pines, Canada. Yes, so there you go. This is, I am slowly in my bedtime stories, so I listen to audiobooks as I go to sleep, and these audiobooks I've already read. One of the things I'm working through is the Louise Penny series again, so I'm getting it again that way. Okay, 6, Forging Ahead. What is a favorite debut book or first book in a series you read last year? Glorious Exploits by Ferdia Lennon. I loved that book. It was in my top 10 novels for 2024. It is a debut novel. It's historical fiction set right at the end of the Peloponnesian Wars. It is funny in a weird way, but it's also very touching, and it really brought to mind. So I started to read it while I was reading it, I should say. We had Ukraine, we have Gaza, and it put me in mind of war, because we're at the end of a war, and how you see your enemy, and realizing that there's humanity in all of us. And this book really brought that to life. And the two characters in this book really start to see that the people who everyone has told them are their enemies really have their own humanity. And I think that's just so important. And it's a fun book to read, but it's also very touching. And it is, it's got its emotional kick in it too. And I have been recommending it far and wide. So Glorious Exploits by Ferdia Lennon. Okay, 7, goals. Do you have a specific reading goal or challenge for the year ahead? Well, I do have a goals video. I will put it down below. I will link it down below. And but on there was one goal that reigns supreme, and that is I want to finish 2025 with at least one less book on my owned TBR than I started the year with. This was my goal last year. I failed it miserably. But this year, I'm going to do it. So it's getting off to a rocky start, mostly because I did do some big book orders for things I'm going to be reading this year. I did some big book orders in December, and there were things that were back ordered and are just now coming. So it looks like I got them this year. That's just how I keep track of my books. But I think this is obviously very possible to do. I just need to keep it front of mind. Last year, I realized, okay, I need to be much more mindful about my book buying, and really only buy books that I think are going to end up on my keeper shelf. And that was great until November 5th, when the election happened, and I really needed some retail therapy, and it kind of went downhill from there. But I think we're kind of stabilized now. And yeah. So 2025, mindful book buying, cut down that owned TBR, and there you go. And then 8, breaking walls. This is a bonus question. Do you have a non-book related goal for 2025 you wish to share? One thing that really broke down in 2024 for me was sleep. I was not sleeping well, and not for any reason other than I wasn't valuing my sleep. I was staying up too late, getting up too early, or having to get up early and then staying up too late because I had to get up early. Bad sleep hygiene, all of these things. So really, 2025, I'm really focusing on getting better sleep. It's actually been going okay. I've been going to bed earlier. I'm really getting into those sort of bedtime rituals to really get myself calmed down and ready to go to sleep. It is challenging because my husband has a much different sleep schedule than I do. Actually, rephrase that. My husband does not have a sleep schedule, and I do. So there's always that point in the middle of the night where I wake up because he's coming to bed. But, doing what I can in my own control to get better sleep. We're all getting older, and sleep becomes more important as you get older. So that is something that I'm really focusing on for 2025. So number 9 is teamwork. Tag others. Now, normally I just sort of on camera pull these, but a lot of people have already been tagged. So I did do that. I just did it off camera so I could be sure to pull people that as far as I know, have not already been tagged. Now, if I don't call your name and you haven't been tagged and you want to do this, tag, you're it. Tag me so I can see your video. But I did pull 3 names out of my jar that I don't think they've been tagged. So the first one is Jennifer at Jennifer Loves Books. The second is Lindsay at Lindsay Reads. And the third is Becca at Read Becca. And again, no pressure. This is an invitation, not an order. So if you would like to, you have been tagged. And do check out their channels, because those are 3 great channels. Anyway, there you go. That might be my only tag for January, but there you go. I hope you all are, your 2025 reading has started off on the right foot. And here's for a successful year. At least we can make 2025 a good reading year. We can do that. Thank you very much. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.